Mark Halperin, though, with a very interesting dose of reality for Team Harris and people who might be getting kind of excited about what's happening with her. Now, I will tell you, this relates to whether Kamala Harris has experienced a post-convention bump. And the answer is she hasn't. The answer is she has not. Yahoo polling today showing that she's 47, Trump's 46. 7/19, July 19th to July 22nd, before the convention, it was 46-46. Both, that's a tie. That's the same. That's no movement. She's gotten no bounce. Now there's more polls out today. A national poll by YouGov and The Economist shows the same. No bounce for her. She's 47, he's 45, which is where they were before. And here's Mark Halperin sounding the alarm to Democrats on what's happening here.
There's some public polling already. There's more coming. And there's some private polling that suggests that nationally in the battleground states, she's not ahead. She might be ahead on paper, but well within the margin of error. And there's some battleground states now where I think Donald Trump's on this trajectory is going to be ahead. And it may be, regardless of what happens in the interview and regardless what happens in the debate, it may be that by the middle of September, when things have calmed down, when the Trump campaign have had time to prey on some of the weaknesses that I suggested, that he's ahead in all the Sun Belt states and ahead in Pennsylvania and competitive in Michigan and Wisconsin, which would be roughly where Joe Biden was before the debate, with a single path to 270 electoral votes, the 3 Great Lakes states and Nebraska too. And that'd be a scary position for the Democratic Party to be in from mid-September through Election Day. Because then they'd have a candidate who'd never won a presidential election, never won a primary or caucus, had run for president once and failed, had been for most of her time as vice president, not a sure-footed person on the national stage. Again, I'm not predicting this will happen, but I think if the data I think is expected to comes out, the people either helped her secure the nomination without a shot being fired, and the people who've long been worried about her against Donald Trump will either be in I told you so mode or oh no mode or both.
What do you make of that?
It reminds me of Gavin Newsom's reaction just speaking with John Favreau, the former head of speechwriting for Obama, where even Newsom, this is a sitting Democrat governor, started laughing about the supposedly open and democratic process to nominate Kamala Harris. And Favreau's laughing too. And everybody's laughing because we know that this was a palace coup. It had nothing to do with the Democratic base, the will of any voters. She just slipped right in there. And as Mark Halperin points out there, she's never won a single primary, even the time that she did run for president. So no matter how confident the Democrats are feeling right now, no matter how much more energized they feel after they kicked out poor old Joe, we're dealing with a nominee who is completely untested in a national election, who has not appeared sure-footed, to use his phrase, while she's been vice president. Who doesn't really have any accomplishments under her belt in government or even electorally as she's running for office. So if I were Democrats, I'd be worried. Even probably the best looking poll for Kamala right now came out last Friday. Fairleigh Dickinson poll showed nationally Kamala at 50, Trump at 43, 7% of voters looking at someone else. Now, of course, that poll was conducted before Friday's endorsement from RFK of Trump. And so there you go. That could be the 7 points right there. But of course, the election won't be decided nationally. It'll be decided within the swing states. And so the endorsement of someone like RFK really would worry me if I were a Democrat, because the Democrats are hoping to get a bump from the DNC, while RFK just blunts whatever bump might have happened because he gives his endorsement the day after the DNC. And then the swing states are all separated by 2 or 3 points now, and RFK was commanding 5 points in some of those states. So even just that shift alone could represent a shift in momentum for the race. And as Halperin points out, if the momentum continues as it is right now, by the end of September, Democrats are going to be in a terrible spot.
I mean, if this is true and she's starting to drop in the polls and, has maxed out, she's peaked just in the context of the Democrats' relief that Biden was out and they had anyone new. But now they're getting to see her again and the numbers start to fall. There's nothing Tim Walz is going to be able to do to save her. The big white blankie will not save the day. It'll be like when my mom got rid of my big white blankie and just kept telling me it was in the wash till I realized I was on my own. She may have that
The white
realization.
blankie went to the wash. Joe Biden went to a farm upstate, I think. That's like they do to Old Yeller.
Yes.
And there are a lot of mixed metaphors here, but all of it comes down to the fact that Kamala is extraordinarily vulnerable. And this is why, of course, she only wants to have one debate with Trump. She wants to push that debate as close as she possibly can to early voting beginning. She wants it to be inconsequential in the race. Democrats were clever in this way to set up two debates, one way earlier than it should have been, one way later than it should have been. And so after the first one proved that Biden was incapable, they could just boot him off the ballot and reset. And then they're hoping that the September debate, even if it goes poorly for Kamala, will simply be inconsequential. But don't forget, the only reason Biden agreed to those debates in the first place is because he was losing, because he was on a bad path, and so he had to do something to try to turn it around. Kamala is just going to try to sit on her hands and wait it out to get into the White House. Well, if these data keep coming up, as Mark Halperin is suggesting, that is going to mean that Kamala's on a bad path. It's a slight path downward, but it's steady. That Trump is on a steady path up, and then she's going to have to try something new. But whatever she tries is only going to expose her to even greater risk, and the risks haven't paid off for her to this point.
She can't save herself with her great oratory. Here is the moment you just referenced with Gavin Newsom on the Pod Save America podcast.
How are you feeling about the switch?
I mean, the switch. Now, we went through a very open process and a very inclusive process. It was bottom up. I don't know if you know that. Yes, that's what I've been told to say.
Yes, it was a blitz primary, I believe is what they called it.
It's a very, very fast blitz. Yes. I think it was a blink primary, so we call that.
A 30-minute convention.
Yeah.
Between a tweet and another tweet.
It's amazing how it happened.
Yeah, it's been amazing. But what is amazing is how unified everybody is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's next level.
So.
That's what I've been told to say. It's amazing. And you remember that Chuck Schumer soundbite with him saying, it's bottom up. It's been grassroots. And here he is saying, it's bottom up. That's what I've been told to say. We're aware that this is all a lie. We know when we're being lied to. We know this was not bottom up.
I love how Gavin Newsom, after he's been joking around a little too much with these insider guys, this is one of the good aspects of the Pod Save America universe, is that these are insiders. They've worked in the Obama White House. This is a real beltway, swampy kind of establishment type podcast. And so he can loosen his tie a little bit here. He's speaking with his colleagues in many ways. And they can exactly, with his bros, they can joke about how the firm works. And so he's joking, oh yeah, in between one tweet, then we had a 20-minute open primary and then another tweet. That's how it works. But then he makes it really serious at the end. He says, oh, wait a second, I'm in public. But you know what's really amazing is how unified we all are.
We're unified.
Okay, yeah.
Totally unified.
A lot of unity I've been seeing in this podcast. And in a sense, the Democrats are unified. They've accepted that Kamala is just the person they're going to have to run this time. But no one's excited about it, including Jon Favreau, including Gavin Newsom, and most importantly, including those moderate and centrist voters that they're going to have to try to pull over in the swing states.
Mm-hmm. They're panicked, and they should be panicked because she's peaked. That's how it looks. If you did not vote for this economic downturn, and who did? Well, we know who did. And the high inflation, you might want to do something about it. Right now, you're paying for it at the pump, the grocery store, growing stacks of unpaid bills sitting there. Financial stress can be crushing, and one solution could be donewithdebt.com. Done with Debt created new aggressive strategies designed to get you out of debt permanently without bankruptcy or loans. Done with Debt can stand between you and bill collectors. They negotiate with your creditors to write off balances, cut interest, stop penalties, and the best news is, Done with Debt is accepting new clients right now. But you need to hurry because some of their debt strategies are time sensitive and you don't want to miss out. Let Done with Debt hit the debt reset button for you and make your money yours again. Visit donewithdebt.com or call 1-888-322-1054 now. Chat with one of their relief strategists for free. Donewithdebt.com, donewithdebt.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.